Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharyamadhyamam Asmadacharyaparyantam Vande Guru Paramparam. So, any questions, clarifications on anything we have done up to now? In the Gita, we came up to, I think, 15th verse on the second chapter. Yeah. Who is fit for gaining this knowledge, etc. From there, we diverged into the qualifications mentioned in the Upanishad, the other books. So, all that we saw, especially their handling emotions, etc. So, the last three classes went on in Adhikaritva. Important because, hey, if my mind is ready, then knowledge is easy to have. Mind is not ready, you struggle with the knowledge. And the thing is, traditional teaching is such, you will always get an insight into this knowledge. However ready or not ready you are, insight will be there. A simple intelligent person, ordinary person, you will get that insight. But you won't be able to make it up your own. So that's why all the qualifications become so important. Okay. Now, next verse. It's a very, very tricky verse. Okay. The 16th. Up to now, any questions, or it's all fine? If there's anything, shoot, okay? Because I want the level of understanding before I move forward. Okay. So, everything clear? Okay. Then he says in the next verse, Nasato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate sataha, ubhayorapi drishtantaha, tu anayoho tattvadarshvihi. Asataha bhavana vidyate. What is asat? Generally taken, non-existent. Bhavana vidyate, it doesn't come into existence. That is true. Then, na abhava vidyate sataha. Something that is not existent will not go into what is existent will not become non-existent also. Okay. The ubhayorapi drishtantaha, one who knows the truth, ya tattvadarshi, he is a tattvadarshi. ये क्या बात है, सिंपल बात है. It is not all that simple. Okay, we have to understand the meaning of sat, asat, etc. So, introducing the topic, let me say it like this. We have a 2-3 words to deal with reality. Ontological words is called. How real a thing is. Like for example, we will say cell phone is real. My horns unreal. Okay. Then the mirage, etc. false. Correct? Mirage, rope, snake, etc. false. 3 words we have. Real, unreal, false. Our general language is used like this, correct? Now my question would be, how do you say that the phone is real but the mirage is false? How do you say that? Because the mirage is negated when you go close, this is not negated. Correct? You go close, pick it up, use it, very real. All right. Based on this, I am going to define the truth. Okay? Abhaditam satyam. That which cannot be negated is sat, satyam. Trikala abhaditam satyam. What can be not negated in the past, present, future is satyam. Got it? So asatyam will remain the same, my horn's not there. False will remain the same. But what will you do with things like phone, etc.? Because this is not abhaditam. This was made at a particular time, it will get destroyed after some time. After some time it won't become functional, it will become e-waste and then you will sort of recycle it. Are you getting what happened? Just by defining the truth as abhaditam, because that is your test of reality, cannot be negated. Trikala abhaditam satyam. Non-existence remains non-existence. False remains false. What about in between? The book, the clothes that I wear, all these are bhaditam. In fact, you don't have to do anything about it. Kurta, what is kurta? Is nothing but cloth. I just have to shift my point of view to come to the understanding that it is bhaditam. It is negatable. Isn't it? Now you take anything in the world. Whole world is like this. It exists, it's functional, but bhaditam. Given that, what word do you have to deal with this? What word do you have? To deal with this functional reality, what word do you have? Satyam, asatyam. We call it tucham. Tucham meaning that which never doesn't exist. So satyam, tucham we have. What about in between like this? So we have another word for this, generally called in Sanskrit as mithya. What is the English equivalent? Mithya. Unfortunately, there is no English equivalent because in English the concept of mithya is not there. For you to have the concept of mithya, you must have the concept of absolute truth, satyam. Trikala abhaditam satyam. You don't have that. Since you don't have the idea of absolute reality, how can you have the idea of mithya? So this mithya is also indicated in this verse by the word asat, not sat. He doesn't call it tucham, absolutely non-existent. He calls it asat, not sat. In Sanskrit, the word a can be used for opposite, it can be used for non-existent. Bhava existence, abhava non-existence. It can be used for absence, opposite, or a little bit. Here we are using the word asat, not sat. Are we saying it's tucham, completely non-existent? No. We are not using the word tucham. We are saying it is not sat. Now, why is this important? Because remember, we saw the fact that you are nothing but pure consciousness. Couple of classes back. Yaad hai na? Bhul nahi gaya. You'll remember it, isn't it? Who am I? The body, mind, etc. all are objects of my awareness. Then I am nothing but awareness, consciousness. And this consciousness is not limited by time, space, etc. We saw what is the unit, how do you measure time? All that we saw elaborately. So now I am consciousness, but what about the world? If consciousness has to be unlimited by time and space, the world cannot stand against it. Correct or not? Are you all getting where we are heading or not getting it? Yeah. So I understand I am consciousness, all right. I understand I am limitless consciousness. But I can't walk through that wall. If the door is closed, I can't walk through it. That means I am limited. No? That thing comes because I am still taking myself to be body and the world is real. This body is part of the world, therefore this body is real, world is real. So we need to have this understanding of asat, also known as mithya. So in this understanding, he says, what is mithya, asat, okay, cannot really come into existence. Okay. Asataha vidyate bhava. Let us take one mithya thing. Pot, for example. Classical example is pot. Okay. Now, in this pot, are you creating an existent pot or a non-existing pot? All that is there some clay. Now, out of this clay, are you creating an existing pot or a non-existing pot? Come on, give me an answer, someone.
There was no pot earlier.
Huh? What was?
There was no pot earlier.
There is no pot earlier. Therefore, a non-existent pot is coming into existence.
Yeah.
Very good. So instead of clay, I'll give you some cloth. Make me a pot. Make me a pot out of cloth.
Make a pouch at this.
Huh?
Can make a pouch kind of a.
It can't carry water, but
Yeah.
why? Because the cloth does not have the potential of pot in it, isn't it? Clay has it. Therefore, what is this thing that we are calling creation? We are only manifesting a potential, isn't it? That means, are you saying you are creating an existing pot? You are not creating a non-existent pot. But are you creating an existing pot? In fact, you have created nothing. The pot is nothing but clay. In this particular shape, that clay is called pot. Isn't it? In this particular shape, it's called pot. Any creation is like this. Kurta, because I said cloth. Where is a kurta? There is nothing but cloth. The feel of the kurta is nothing but the feel of the cloth. The weight of the kurta is nothing but the weight of the cloth. The fall of the kurta is nothing but the fall of the cloth. Where is kurta? Just Nama Rupa, you're right. It's just a form for which you are given a name. Function. The moment you say form, function comes into the picture. because good design is based on that principle, form follows function. A particular form is meant for a function. Ornate forms are only meant for aesthetic. That's a function. Aesthetics. Okay. So there is it. Where is the creation? Take anything in the creation, the same. Kurta. What is there is nothing but cloth. So what you called as kurta became a name and a form for cloth. Therefore, is cloth Satyam? Can you just draw that window? There is a window there, just draw that. It's too much of racket coming in from there. There's a construction going on in the building behind. Just pull it close, yeah. The first one itself. Yeah, that's it. That's better. That's better. There's no. Thanks. So, kurta disappears into the cloth. So, is cloth the Satyam? The cloth was nothing but yarn. Where is the cloth? All yarn. Woven together. Fiber, threads woven together. So, is threads the Satyam? Now look at it. The kurta became Asat, cloth became Satyam. Cloth became Asat. Now we are going into threads. Threads are Asat. Fibers. Fibers are Asat. Hydrocarbons. It's cotton or rayon or whatever, it is made of hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbon is the truth. Hydrocarbon is a molecule. It's an arrangement of atoms. So atoms. Atom is the truth, Satyam. Atom is an arrangement of particles. Particle is the truth. Now look at it. We started with kurta. Okay. We come all the way down to particles. Everything that you thought was a material is disappearing into name and form, name and form, name and form. So what will be the final reality if you are going like this? It has to exist because there has to be an existence. Why? This kurta is existing or not? I am using it. This is not the emperor's new clothes. I have not come bare bodied and say, look at the kurta. I come with something existing, but without a form. Existing but without a form. Because if you have a form, I will resolve it into something further. So what is the reality behind the kurta?
However hard we try, you can't imagine something which is formed.
You are not supposed to imagine, that is why. Because, I'll tell you why. When you are trying to imagine, you are going back to your school days when you were taught the amoeba was formless. The amoeba was shapeless, not formless. So shapeless and formless are two different things. Formless means no boundaries. No boundaries means no limits. You can't imagine it. The more you try to imagine it, the more your mind is blown. Something for understanding cognitively. Now look at it. The truth behind the kurta is formless existence. Truth behind this book is what? Same thing, same process, formless existence. Truth behind The cell phone will be what? Formless existence. The truth behind anything in the world will be what? Formless existence. So what you call as creation, where is the creation? Asataha sat bhavaha na vidyate. The asat, the mithya, does not really come into existence, it's just an appearance. Cloth in this form is called kurta. If you don't have enough material, you will make it shorter and call it kurti. I'm sure this is how kurtis came into being. Somebody ran out of material. For men, it will be called guru shirt. Guru shirt is a shorter version. Our times, Rajesh Khanna invented that. Invented it, he wore it a lot. Called it guru shirt. It is not so long as a kurta, it is a shorter version. Why? He was getting a pot belly and he wanted to hide that pot belly. Kurtas are good for hiding that. Those days, heroes didn't have six-pack abs like how nowadays they create. But they could act. Nowadays, they have six-pack abs, they can't act for nuts. Anyway, that apart. So, what you call? Just a form, name and form, name and form. The whole creation is reduced to nothing but names and forms. Where is creation, tell me? It doesn't come into existence. Where has the kurta come into existence? It never came into existence. What is there is nothing but cloth. Before the kurta, what was there was cloth. After, when the kurta is there, nothing but cloth. When the kurta gets torn up, nothing but cloth. This is true for the whole universe. This is where your difficulty comes. Take that leap. If you find difficult, take things in the universe and keep working it like that. We did it with kurta. Do it with a book. Do it with a bottle of water. Do it with anything. Start doing it. Start doing it. Until your mind says, correct, everything is nothing but formless existence. Bhavana vidyate. It does not have an independent existence. Mithya is not illusion. Mithya is that which does not have independent existence. The kurta cannot exist independently. Okay, this month for Guru Dakshina, give me a. But existence is all the time and world is as the world out there. Correct. It's only an experience. Okay, this month Guru Dakshina, give me a kurta. Just one. All of you together. But no material. Give me a kurta without material. You will not be able to even conceive of it, isn't it? So, I can conceive it here. Your space. You're drawing it in space. Therefore, there is no independent existence for this whole creation. This creation looks so vast, it looks so solid, it stands against my understanding of the fact I am limitlessness. But one has to understand it does not have an independent existence. It exists depending on existence. Sat. Therefore, tasya bhavana vidyate. And what is Sat? Tasya abhavana vidyate. Okay? Na abhava vidyate sataha. And the Sat existence, which is unconditioned by time and space, tasya abhavana vidyate. It doesn't go out of existence. The Upanishad, there is a statement. Sadaiva saumyadamagram asit ekameva dvitiyam brahman. Before this whole creation, what was there was only one Brahman. And then from that Brahman, the whole creation manifested. So somebody asked, Swamiji, I had 1 kilo of atta. 1 kilo atta, wheat flour, mixed with water and oil and whatever, atta. I made 50 chapatis out of that. So now where is the atta gone? Atta hai? Kya chapati hai? What is there? I know many men don't cook so here, so may not be very. Atta is gone. So similarly, there was Brahman and then creation came, Brahman gone. Can you say that? Can you say that?
Say that in physical context of physical things only.
Yeah, you can say it only in a physical thing, meaning in a time-bound thing. In a time-bound, space-bound thing, you can say. But even there, you can't really say it. Why? Kurta, cloth became kurta, but can you say the cloth has disappeared? No, it's right there here. So even here, you cannot completely say it. But Brahman is defined as being unconditioned by time and space. Brahman is consciousness, unconditioned by time and space. We have seen that a couple of classes back. So if it's unconditioned by time and space, can it undergo a process like how atta becomes roti? There is no process. Therefore, the whole creation becomes only an appearance. What is an appearance? Okay. Let me tell you a small story. It cannot. Who is conditioning time and space? Time and space is a creation of your mind, isn't it? Yeah. It's something like.
Huh? Not my mind. It is not my individual mind.
For you, it is your individual mind. If you're looking at creation as a huge thing, then you'll have to say total mind, cosmic mind. That's only the mind it still is. Remember, this evolution of matter into creation, you know what is the big flaw in that? One, that consciousness came later. The biggest flaw in science, that matter evolved into the creation. Basically, that's what the theory is, isn't it? The biggest flaw there is, for every evolution, at any stage, is a series of events. There is no event without an observer. So, who was the observer of evolution? If consciousness manifested later, who was the observer of the Big Bang? Who was the observer of the beginning? Because you say it is there. To say it is there, there has to be an observer. Who is the observer? Because consciousness came later, that means you are saying observer came later. If observer came later, how can you say he observed what is before him? That's like saying I was there at my parents' wedding. Yeah, पता लगता है ऐसा ही है, in the way you are behaving. That can be an insulting statement, or it cannot be a factual statement.
Yeah. They don't accept consciousness also. They say consciousness is a product of brain activity.
Yeah.
So really there is no consciousness. All there is inert matter.
If all there is inert matter, how did you and I come into being?
They talk about random evolution, which is not a proven thing. Great Darwin and all that.
Yeah, it's nothing is proven. Another big problem in science is every theory should be falsifiable.
Yeah.
So then it is falsifiable, whatever science is talking about. by its own definition.
It cannot be falsified. But even enough evidence is not there for the evolution also.
Agreed. So then what are we talking about? So there is where the Shruti comes in and say, what was there as consciousness which appeared as matter? Ulta. Instead of matter producing consciousness, consciousness producing matter. Which makes more sense because observer everything is feasible. And we are not saying producing, we are just saying manifesting an appearance. Because what is unconditioned by time and space cannot undergo a change to become something else.
Swamiji, nowadays we try to talk about simulation argument, but that's also not logically strong.
None of these arguments are true. Yeah. Yeah. There are speculations. You know what's happening? You are speculating on something for which there is not enough data. So it becomes wild speculation. Because you are trying to put it in a scientific format, you are saying it is valid theories. But that format itself is questionable. The format itself is questionable. Yeah.
But staying with our parampara, if consciousness is beyond time and space,
Yes.
while matter is conditioned by time and space,
Yeah.
then consciousness appearing as matter, where does that, we are bringing something which is conditioned by time and space.
So the Upanishad says the first manifestation is time and space.
Okay.
So and then everything inside time and space will be conditioned by time and space after that. In fact, the Upanishads consider time-space continuum as one. Long before our science talked about it. Who was the scientist who's considered?
Einstein.
Not Einstein, who is in a wheelchair.
Stephen Hawking.
Hawkins, Stephen Hawking, yes. Yeah. Long before he talked about time-space continuum as one, the Upanishad looked upon it as one. So because a manifestation is how you look at it. What is electron? I'll talk it from two levels, okay? A scientific level and a very easy functional level. What is an electron? A wave or a particle? So what the scientists the latest thing is, as long as you don't observe it, it is a wave. The moment you observe it, it collapses into a particle. A particle is nothing but a collapsed wave. Sounds good, technically nice. So I'll turn around and ask, with my simple logic, what happened? When you observe an electron, it gets self-conscious and freezes up. What? Number one. Number two, see, this is all just way of saying. Look at my hand. What are you seeing now? A wave motion. Some motion you are seeing. Supposing you photograph this, what will you see? Depends on where you are photographed, right? Where my hand is. An observation is a collapse itself. There is no separate collapse. The very act of observation is freezing the point of the wave, isn't it? Simple. Here it is. That is one thing. Therefore, what you talk about will depend upon your frame of reference. Simple thing. Years ago when I was studying in Sandipani, we had a driver there called Rishi Prasad. So after some time he said, I have to go back to my gaon, Uttarakhand. He's from Rishikesh actually. Will you give this job to my brother? His brother's name was Rohit. So Swamiji said, does he know how to drive? Yes, yes. Between you and me, I'm telling you, he had learned to drive on a truck, not a car. Okay. In fact, every time I go to Rishikesh, the locals will come to me. Swamiji, आप बॉम्बे से है ना? कुछ काम मिलेगा? Driving, I know driving. That's all there. Now it is changing because Uttarakhand is also developing a lot now. The last 10 years, Uttarakhand has also developed a lot. Anyway, that apart. So this guy comes to Bombay. Dehradun Express, super slow express. It takes 40 hours from Haridwar to Bombay. It is not changed. It is still the same. You can have one Vande Mataram and all that, but this train will remain the same. So 4 o'clock in the morning he landed up at 4:30 in the morning he landed up at Bombay Central, and that train is never late. Why? He's got so much of time to come. 40 hours from Haridwar to Bombay. Yeah. You can't make the train late. In fact, to keep the time, at Delhi it stops for 1 hour. New Delhi another half an hour. Kota half an hour. Ratlam another half an hour. Why? Because you have to make up the time, no? So it has to stop. Anyway, he came by that train. And his brother went to pick him up. And Swamiji said, when you are all the way going into town, just drop these papers off to our trustee there. Okay. So he picked up Rohit. He said, 10 minute काम है, कुछ चाय वाय पिएगा? Would you like to have some tea or something? No. There is one thing I want to do. I want to do Samudra Darshanam. Arey, Samudra Darshanam in Bombay you can do any time. It's all surrounded by water only. 3 sides in Bombay is water. In fact, the 3rd side is only a point. Nariman Point. There is nothing but water all around. Okay? You will see. No. I have been waiting to have Samudra Darshanam. So I said, okay. Chowpatty is close from Bombay Central. I'll drop you at Chowpatty. You sit down there on the beach and have Samudra Darshanam. I'll go drop these papers, come back and pick you up. So he went. After 20 minutes he came back. Did you have Samudra Darshanam? Samudra kidhar hai? Where is the ocean? Where is Samudra? Where is the ocean? What is out there? अरे ये तो पानी है. This is water. ये गंगा में मैं बहुत देखा है पानी. So now what will ऋषि प्रसाद से? अरे ये समुद्र है, जब ऐसा रहता है वो समुद्र बोलता है इसको. It's only a perception, a point of view. It's all nothing but pani. Ocean, lake, river, sea, huge waves, tiny waves, 100-year waves that can sink a ship without a trace. Or a small little wave that comes and tickles my feet when I stand on the beach. All that is what? Nothing but water. All that is nothing but water. So what you call as a particular creation is nothing but your perception of it, isn't it? It's just your perception. There is nothing beyond your perception. Your conception of it. Yeah. Some years ago in US, this American lady and a friend of mine went shopping. So this lady is telling me afterwards, your friend is strange. I said, why? We went out and bought some curtain cloth and the next day she wore it. Those days saris etc. Women used to make it out of whatever cloth is available. What curtain cloth? The next day she wore it. For the American it is curtain cloth. For the Indian is looking at it as a sari. What's the difference? How you have conceived it, isn't it? Creation kidhar hai? Where is creation? How have you conceptualized it? Na sataha vidyate bhavaha. The mithya does not really come into existence. It is just an appearance. Whole world is like that. And what is existence? That consciousness never goes out of existence. Why? It is not something finite that can be negated. Something finite can be negated conceptually. It can be destroyed physically. There is nothing like an indestructible object, isn't there? I used to use this argument with my mom a lot. You know, the last few years of her life, my mom was living with my sister. But she would love to come here and spend a few days with me. So first thing she will do when she comes in, she will walk into the kitchen. Where is my ladle gone? A particular ladle that she used to do. I said, there, it is broken. 50 years I used it and you broke it in 1 year. I said, no, it got broken in 51 years. There is nothing like an indestructible object. Yeah. 50 years you used it, 1 year I used it. In that first 1 year I used it, it broke. 51 years is a long time for something not to be used. In fact, if you look around, many things in my life are like that. The chair I am sitting on is 40 years old. This chair is stable more than 40 years old. But there's nothing indestructible except that which is free from time and space. This is because destruction is a process in time, either time or a physical act. But is there really destruction, or is it only a change of state? You broke the pot, there are shards of pot available. Powder it off and mix it with water, clay comes back into being. Therefore, there is only a question of the whole world that you see, that you feel stands against the fact that your consciousness is limitlessness, has to be seen as really speaking mithya. By mithya, we don't mean not functional. This is a big problem in understanding. Many people think mithya means illusions. Illusion is mithya, all right, but mithya is not an illusion. Mithya is a dependent reality, that which cannot exist independently by itself. So the kurta is mithya, but it's useful. I can wear a kurta. Wearing a kurta is more comfortable for traveling around in Bombay than wearing a angavastram. An upavastram, as you call it. Uttariyam, these are the words used. Maharashtrians don't like me using the word angavastram because it has other connotations. Lakshana it is, Lakshana connotations are there.
We call it Uparna.
Uparna, Uttariyam, Upavastram, Upastram, they are all Paryaya padas. But imagine traveling by Bombay bus and train using a. Girls are given up dupatta in Bombay because of inconvenient it is, unwieldy. So we wear a kurta, a cloth. But neither the kurta nor the uttariyam has an independent existence apart from cloth. So a dependent reality is what we call mithya. It's functional, it is useful. Don't say mithya is useless. In fact, what is useful is mithya. Because we go by blinkers on thing, only rope snake, rope snake, rope snake. Because most of the books on Vedanta talk about it because it's easy to understand, rope snake. But I don't like to use the example of rope snake because you think it is an illusion. It is not an illusion. Mithya is very useful. The pot is useful. When I want to carry water, I need a pot, not a clay. I want a pot, useful. When to go out, I want a kurta, not a bale of cloth. That's not going to help me. Useful, but mithya at the same time. And what is it that is not mithya? Tell me. You're walking on a flat earth. Is it flat? It's a round earth. But what are you walking on? Are you balancing on a ball when you're walking? With all the roads being dug up and the condition is bad enough. Imagine you have to balance on a ball on top of it. You're walking on a flat earth, mithya. You're seeing a blue sky, mithya. You're seeing a rising sun, it doesn't rise, mithya. You're being driven by the time, doesn't exist, mithya. Just conceptualization. What is Satyam? I, consciousness. That is seeing the mithya. Tasya bhava na vidyate. Na bhavo vidyate sataha. The second part of that first line. You can never negate the Sat existence, the consciousness. It is, if this verse is clear, all of Vedanta is clear. Meaning you have to make it a fact of your life. That anything that you are dealing with, the chair you are sitting on, solid, no? This is mithya because my hands are also mithya. Two mithyas are clashing with each other. If the hand is harder, the chair will break. If the chair is harder, the hand will break. Simple as that. Both are mithya. Even when you look at it from science, what is all these atoms and molecules in motion, isn't it? And they are nothing but so much of quantum of energy. Who was that scientist who said that? For 30 years I was studying matter in quantum physics. Finally I came to the understanding there is no matter. I'll say it doesn't matter. In fact, it was a good thing. Half your understanding is over. The next step will be easier for you to take.
But Swamiji, then there is no place or in our parampara, there is no thought or shunya, is it? Then?
No what?
Or shunya, nothingness or shunya.
There is. But, okay, when you are talking of shunya, there is not, since everything is based on existence, there cannot be absolute shunya. Why? Because you, the observer of shunya, will exist. That is why we say, in many of the Sahasranamas, Lalita and all Devi Sahasranamas, you will have this word, Om Shunyave Namaha. Then 2-3 words later, you will find another word, Om Shunya Sakshine Namaha. The one who is witnessing that shunya. Because what is it? Give me an example of shunya.
Black hole singularity.
Black hole is super dense matter, it is not shunya.
No, I mean inside the black hole.
There is no inside the black hole. It is super dense. In fact, it cannot be a hole. It's a misnomer. It's super dense matter. So it's much denser than this planet. 1,000 times more denser than the planet. 1,000,000 times more. Any shunya example you give me will be a combination. Something that doesn't exist. Na? Shunya means something that doesn't exist. My horns, like a rhinoceros, my horns, doesn't exist. Shunya. My head exists, the horn exists on the rhinoceros, but the combination, my horn, doesn't exist. So this concept of non-existence is based on two existing things, isn't it? My head and the rhinoceros. Combination doesn't exist.
Swamiji, this is why even Shankaracharya did not even debate Shunyavada.
Yeah. He just dismissed it all offhand. Here and there you find some arguments developed from what he has said. Yeah. In the later commentaries, they have developed some of the arguments. Yeah.
So,
the
Swamiji, when you said tuch, it's the same as shunya.
what is that?
Tucham, when you said tucham, it's false.
Tucham is what is called as
Same
shunya. Yeah.
Shunya.
Not shunya, because tucham is completely non-existent, like my horn.
Okay.
So I use the word tucham for that, not shunya.
Okay.
Yeah. Because there is nothing like shunya. Pure abhava does
But
not
you
exist.
said it has to coexist with something
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
So you said your horn and your
Yeah,
head.
yeah.
So you said
So what you say is
there
doesn't
is a
exist.
difference.
So what we say is non-existence is generally a combination. It is not shunya. Yeah.
Swamiji,
Yeah.
couple of questions. So one is going back to the scientific paradigm.
Hmm.
So let us say, for example, scientists would say that some mountain range came into existence 400 million years ago, and life on Earth came into existence say only some 10 million years ago.
Yeah.
And they would argue saying that look, these mountains came into existence long before
Yeah.
life, and we are inferring that they came into existence.
Yeah.
So how do we counter that, saying that actually there was consciousness present for that event that happened?
Yeah, because if you are saying it's an event, then there has to be an observer.
But
See,
their argument
because
would become inferred.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They are all inferences. They are all inferences. Therefore, in a way, the fallacy is within the philosophy of science itself. The philosophy that backs science, which says the necessity of an observer, when the observer is absent before, because you are saying consciousness came later. Therefore, there itself there is a contradiction. There is a fallacy there. It's a fallacy. Yeah, we can say the mountains came 400 million years ago. Fine. Because you study the earth crust, etc., you predict a movement, it is 99% possible that it happened like that. Okay? All the models, etc., you put together, good chance that it happened like that. 99.99% it happened like that. Why can't I say 100%? Because we don't know for sure anyway.
Right.
Okay? If somebody had made a video recording at that time, you could say it's okay. Yeah.
Swamiji, other than an observer thing,
Yeah.
see, because a mountain is not a river. Because of consciousness, everything is intelligently put together, right?
Yeah, again, the differences are made by whom? The water or the mountain is not saying, I am not the mountain, I am not the river. It is a conscious being who is saying that, isn't it?
But is the conscious being which manifests
Yeah.
one place as water,
Correct.
one place as the mountain?
So existence
consciousness
can manifest in a million different ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the million
Yeah.
manifestations mean because there is consciousness.
Yeah.
That's why the differences are there in their
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't the space which cannot be seen manifest as something blue sky? See the absolute contradiction of this manifestation. Colorless, formless space is manifesting as a colorful, formful horizon. That's why we say what is behind the manifestation is Maya Shakti. Maya is a power inherent in Brahman which is responsible for the manifestation. How do you define Maya? That which is not really there. Doesn't exist. What is it capable of doing? Impossible things. Agatana gatana gatiyasi Maya. What is impossible, it can do.
Okay, so Swami, one thing here, if you talk about observer, what is the look?
Now, unlike science, in the final level, Vedanta, the observer and the observed are the same. It is the observer that has manifest as the observer, as the observed. But
So
the observer is
everywhere.
hold on. The observer is resolved into pure consciousness existence. The observed is revolved into pure consciousness existence. Therefore, all that is there is one consciousness existence, and there is an apparent manifestation of subject, object, etc.
before, like, so when Mahapraya happens, that dissolves, like in our sleep also,
Yeah.
the experience is gone.
Yeah.
So,
So this is where you, this is the understanding that has to come from the first half of the verse itself. That's why it's one of the most profound verses. You know, people give me books, Gita. Swamiji, this is a very good book. I read it. Can you just check out how it is? Now I get hundreds of books. Do I have the time to read all those books? So I'll pick up. First verse I open will be this. If before this I want to open something, I'll say how is Arjuna's problem described. Oh, psychological issues, forget it. They're not understood the problem. What are they going to understand the solution? Next verse will be this. Na bhava vidita sataha, etc. If they explained it this correctly, chances are good. After that, I'll go into the second and third chapter where dealing with karma yoga. If they talk about disinterested action, work without expecting results, I said forget it. I don't have to go beyond that. Yeah?
Assisting with the line of question which Karthik raised. Sorry, it's becoming very interactive today, but
No, it is necessary. This verse is a tough verse to crack.
does Jnanam also require observer, or Jnanam itself is the observer? When we say consciousness is Jnanam also.
Are you the observer right now of what's happening?
Yeah,
Okay. And what are you? You resolve into pure consciousness.
yeah,
Therefore, observer is nothing but pure consciousness.
yeah.
With respect to an object, you become observer. With respect to yourself, you are pure consciousness.
Swamiji,
Yeah.
what is, I'm sorry, this may be a very fundamental question, but what is the best working definition of pure consciousness?
Satyam Jnanam Anantam.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so we're equating, I mean, when you say consciousness, we're talking about Brahman, basically.
Yeah. But I want you all to think about this. I'll sum it up in the next class. But think about this. This verse requires some profound thought. Okay, it's not a simple verse.
There are some constructs in abstract mathematics, topology, and even zero, if you're thinking of it, where you are sort of observing a construct set.
Yeah, it's only a construct. Correct.
So,
So where do you think the idea of zero and infinity came in mathematics? Where do you think it came from? They say from the Arab. It's not from Arabs. The Western world found it from the Arabs. The Arabs took it from here. Zero is Maya, infinity is Brahman. That's why Maya does not have a value by itself, but along with Brahman, it gives value to everything else. Exactly what zero is. No? Itself has no value, but if you add it to something, it has value. Limitlessness is infinity. Though mathematically you are talking only of practical infinities. Yeah. That's why you will say tending to infinity. Because infinity cannot be a point. Why are you saying that? Because you are looking yourself as separate from infinite.
Yeah. So mathematical constructs which are so mainstream in our science are not really, having any sort of physical reality.
See, because Western mathematics the culture and the civilization does not have this idea of consciousness being absolute. Some of the mystics got it. Mystics of every religion got it. But they got it, they couldn't communicate it. Because that's what mystics are about. You can't communicate. But otherwise, systematic learning in this tradition is available. Yeah.
Sorry, just one more thing.
Yeah, shoot.
So just now you mentioned the best working definition for consciousness is Satyam Jnanam Anantam, which in English is existence, consciousness, limitlessness.
Yeah.
So I'm getting consciousness coming on both sides. Right?
Yeah. In fact, there are three words but dealing with one and the same object. Only one reality, but three words just to make understanding clear.
Okay, got it. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
On the YouTube channel. There's a playlist for Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. Listen to that. Yeah.
Yes.
Those who have got some background, listen to that. Those who don't have much background, please be careful. You will get confused. I'll cover it here.
So, Swamiji, when you said that according to the Shastram, time-space continuum is one. So when the Upanishad says Atmanaha Akasha Sambhutaha and all that,
yeah.
should we understand that
time and space both came into it. Yeah.
Time as well.
Space came same time. That's why they are not mentioned it separately. When you mention one, you don't have to mention the other. That's a paradigm that they follow.
So
yeah.
Okay, so when it says Akasha came from Atma, we have to understand time and Akasha came
from the consciousness.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then probably Swamiji, in kind of Western science, they probably unnecessarily keep talking about time separately.
Yeah.
Say that.
It is not talking about science because science doesn't talk about you. Science talks about the world and indirectly about you. Yeah. So biological. That is why it's those who have got a scientific frame of mind. The new theory in science. See, science when it dealt with reality, always dealt with reality from the standpoint of physics. There is a new study coming up, new branch, which is called biocentrism, which is trying to keep the biology at the center because the question of you and consciousness comes up. Have a look at that. It will be interesting. For those who are science background, have a look at that. It will be very interesting. There are some books also available. I'm sure you will find a lot of this on the net. You all are the net generation. Okay. Google.
The problem with the net is that there is too much on the net.
I know. So use AI to create what you want. Just give me an insight into what biocentrism is about.
Why do you think we are back into the class? It gives nothing.
What are the fundamental principles of biocentrism? You ask a question like that, with AI you will get the answers. And they are not. When you ask for AI to give you answers on science, they are pretty accurate. Why? Because they come from the same paradigm. AI and science comes from the same paradigm. You ask about philosophy, it will go haywire, I'm telling you. I tried, it will go haywire. I just wanted to see how it is going to, because it's picking up information that is there and trying to collate everything together. Science will work okay because the paradigms are similar. AI paradigms and science paradigms are the same. But when it comes to other disciplines, it will go haywire. Talk about art appreciation and ask a question. Daffodils. Give me an appreciative comment on that. Go haywire. Yeah. I can't imagine if they ask about AI, ask about Abhignata Shakuntalam. I think I should try that and see how it works. The story of an illegitimate girl. I can imagine the headlines being made. Anyway, think about this verse. Okay, we'll come back next class with more details about it. Om Tat Sat.